Okay, we have another tutorial on Dex, and what I want to talk about today, I'm trying to hit a milestone of 10 video tutorials here, so I think this will be the ninth. What I want to talk about today is going to be processing integration with Dex. So processing is a pretty powerful visualization tool, and I believe it's by Ben Fry as the author, and it's really one of those really nice technologies that you can do virtually anything with it. Interfaces with WebGL, and there's a lot of sophisticated visualization capabilities out there that people have already written inside of processing. So it only makes sense to bridge the capabilities of Dex into the processing world. So first, I'm going to cover the WebDriver, which has the ability to interface with any HTML content, and Dex basically processes the data and makes it available to the template. In this case, it's GTMPL, which stands for a Groovy template. So if you need to massage data on the way in, you can build that into your template itself. And this is the first integration technique, and the next one will be a more intimate, interactive relationship through the actual processing script component. But let me cover this one first. So WebDriver is going to activate a code browser. I have two of them, one for this component and one for that one. Right now only this is active, so I'm going to execute it, and this code browser pops up, and we see that we have a print statement here, some basic graphic content, nothing too fancy. Dex meet processing, processing meet Dex. And then we have a print statement that says, wow, Dex just sent me 0 rows of data. Well, next, we're going to enable this, and we're going to enable this component and re-execute. And now we see that this visual has been updated, and it says that Dex just sent me 12 rows of data. So what happens here is, if we view the page source, again, the processing capability is inline inside of the HTML, which does increase the size of it, but the key is it makes your HTML asset externalizable. So basically you can put it anywhere. You have no external dependencies. You don't need a web server. You can just view it directly as a file. So what happens is the input gets shared from Dex into the application via the template, and from here it's not too hard to envision being able to incorporate this into many different types of processing visualizations, pie charts and bar charts and whatever you want to do, and maybe some of the more sophisticated stuff that I've seen guys like Jer Thorpe do, and really amazing stuff like Cascade. I really want to get to a point where we have some of those types of visuals, but at this point we're going to walk before we run. So that's the hello world. So next I'm going to go here and I'm just going to do a few quick demos of some of the stuff we can do with this component. So this is just processing content that I found out in the wild and just put directly into this as a template. This is a demo that's out there that has a few other dependencies other than just processing. There's some other libraries called Toxic Lives, and I really like this 3D view. I think that we could do something pretty fantastic with a variation of this that actually reacted to the incoming data. Let's see, can't remember. I'm not sure if that was the fourth one. This was another neat thing. It's not really reacting to the data, but it shows some of the graphical capabilities of processing. And let me load the fifth demo here. Nothing too fancy here other than it shows processing ability to react to the mouse and be able to do some pretty interesting things with that. And last for this component is this one here, which is obviously a charting component called Molten Lava, something like that. But I thought it was pretty cool. I'm not sure how useful this view is, but definitely this may be one of the components we use as a framework to figure out how to integrate the cool capabilities of processing into Dex. So this is brand new functionality, just created it yesterday, and I'm just showing an early preview of what's going to be coming down the pipeline here. Okay, so moving on, I'm going to disable this, and I don't think I need data yet, so I'm going to disable those two guys, and I'm going to enable the processing script. So what we have here is an editor where we can interactively put whatever code we want into it, and then over here we have an output file. So in this case, after we execute the program here, combine it with the base template that's attached to this processing script component, the final output's going to go to wherever you specify over here. Again, we could load whatever code we want. We could browse over to whatever we want the output file to be, or whoops, I should have. Or we can just manually input it here as well. So next we have the choice of browser, Firefox or Chrome. I prefer Chrome, and we have the ability to load code into here or to save it externally. So this would be the loading and saving the processing code. So I'm going to start off with here. This is just a basic demo I found out on the web. Execute that, and the second code browser is going to pop up here. I don't think we need this one anymore. So I am going to go through a few of these real quick. Let me load the corkscrew, execute that. Not too phenomenal. Not sure what this one is, but just a basic bouncing ball demo. Let me load the next one, which would be KDE. Kind of cool. Lightspeed. Perspective. Looks like that one may have an issue. Let's see, rotating. Let's execute this one. And this shows some of the really nice capabilities of processing to be able to operate in 3 dimensions, to be able to work with OpenGL content. So over here we can see that it's working on what I believe is going to be a WebGL canvas. Instead of canvas, it would be working on WebGL. And this may be an interesting one to play around with some of the numbers. Like, let's go here and make this sphere 30. See what the effect of that is. Okay, that central sun or planet sphere got larger, so maybe increase that guy up to 50, and let's see, where are the other spheres? Maybe we'll change that one to 20, and this other sphere, maybe we'll bump that up to 5. So basically we're just playing around with the sizes. We can see how live the changes are. And next is the Spyro. I'm not sure. So that's kind of hard to see. So let's go ahead and increase this guy up to, I don't know, 800 by 800. And so we see a bigger canvas here, but this thing is about the same size. So let's see if we can figure out how to make this even larger. Let's see, where is the code for that? Width divided by 2. Oh, nope. Let me Control Z because that was a bad change. Change this back to 800. Looks like the size is over here. So let's make it 800. Let's make it the full size of this thing. And looks like the change took. Maybe fit it onto the screen. But you can easily see how you could quickly create visualizations that would key off of your data and maybe show things on the screen based off of the data input. So going forward, I'm hoping to put quite a few views together using things like R and processing in tandem together, and using Dex as kind of the glue in between these frameworks, and in some cases maybe dip into the WebGL world. So let's see if there's anything else kind of interesting here. Swarm, again, that's kind of small, so let's again make it a little bit bigger. Turn that into 800. I can't type today. Maybe change the size up to 800 as well. Not really sure what that's going to do. This parameter here, maybe we'll bump that up to 255. Now we can see the lines a little more clearly. And what happens here if we change cosine over to cosine? What would be the behavior of that? Well, still looks kind of circular, but what if we went with a tangent instead? What would that do? That kind of looks interesting. Very different behavior, very quick changes, and the visualization is dramatically changed. Kind of curious what happens with a tangent here. That would go all over the screen. Yeah, interesting. Okay, so this shows some of the processing capability, and so I loaded some basic demos over here. There's a really good book called The Nature of Code by Daniel Schiffman, and he goes into a lot of really interesting aspects, things like fractals and how to incorporate physics into programs to do very interesting things and sometimes surprising things that you wouldn't normally think would be physics type problems. But you can use this tool to just jump into the examples and maybe, well, those are pretty simple. So maybe we'll jump into fractals, and maybe we'll load something like let's see, maybe we'll load the tree. That was kind of interesting, and then execute that, and then we can see this is an interactive fractal where the tree, I guess, grows and wilts based on the location of the mouse. So you can use Dex to play around with this stuff, and maybe you want to change some minor behavior. This gives you a platform to quickly do it. And additionally, maybe you want your data to feed the behavior of this script, and that's something that you can't do in other tools that I know of. Maybe there is something out there, but if there is, I don't really know of any other tools to do it. And let's see, is there anything else to show? Yeah, I guess we can go into oscillation. There's bound to be something interesting there. Yep. So a lot of fun little demos, and if whenever you find processing code out in the wild, for instance, on the processing site itself, you can just jump over here and go to the learning, and you should be able to basically drop the examples directly into Dex, and it should run without modification in general. There may be some exceptions, but haven't really. Only exception I've encountered so far are processing scripts that need multiple files, and we'll fix that as well going forward. So anyway, just a quick view into some new functionality inside of Dex, and thank you for listening.